Astral and are still carrying on their function. So I'm just giving you another example of thought forms. Back to my story, I wanted to protect my apartment from break-ins, from people and intruders. And not only did I want to protect it from physical intruders, I also wanted a barrier or a protection against astral intruders, entities that may seek to do mental harm or bring negative energy into my apartment. I wanted a protection, an actual astral protection. So I used the creation of thought forms. Now, this is not what I created, but I'm giving you an example of something that could be created as a thought form. This is actually natural clay. This is clay. In order to create a thought form, you have to have a physical image to focus your mind on. Actually, to tell you the truth, you don't have to, but for those of us who are maybe less visual, cannot visualize as well as the masters, it helps us to have physical objects to visualize. So, and it should be made of natural ingredients, not a petroleum-based plastic or something of such. Clay, wood, an excellent one is crystal, and that's what I used. I ordered a special jaguar cat that was completely made of crystal, not glass, but crystal. And that I thought crystal would be great for this thought form because it's crystal itself just retains energy and everything. So I thought this would be the perfect, ideal, best kind of image to focus on. So you get your image like I did, and if you have a wooden or a clay image, you can take the bottom of it, and I did this with the crystal actually, and it didn't break. I was very, very careful. I used a sharp razor blade, and I did it as slow as possible. It took me several days. You engrave a hole in the bottom of it, okay? And I'd say a hole about maybe an inch. It depends. It could be about an inch, half inch, but an inch is better. Maybe like a cone-shaped hole. And then you want to create your thought form in the full moon, because of the waxing moon that is waxing to get to the full cycle, because waxing creates the creation of energy and magnifying of energy. The waning moon cycle phase is where energy is kind of dissipating. So you don't want to dissipate it, you're trying to build energy. So I used the 3 days before the full moon, and I did it for 3 days because 3 for me is a magic number. So I figured 3 would be perfect. And the 3 days culminating on the day of the full moon. And I had my jaguar. I had the hole that I had gouged down the week previous. Took me several days to do. I had that ready. And part of the process of the thought form is definitely concentration, raising of energy. And I had also, you have to write a specific one-sentence function of what you want that thought form to do. And I said, protect my apartment from all negative energy entities, both physical and astral. That's what I gave. That was its function. You also give your thought form a name, because it is going to condense through your energy into an actual entity, and you want to name it to give it that sense of identification and individuality. And what I did was, through meditation and tantric principles. Now, you don't just... I sat for half an hour. I did my deep breathing. You take your 10 deep breaths. You charge your blood with the energy that's around you by taking your 10 deep breaths. I took my crystal jaguar, and I thought, intuitively, I didn't read this or anything, I just thought a great thing to do would be to hold it up to my heart chakra and project while I'm breathing that energy out of my heart chakra and condensing inside of that crystal jaguar. I fed that jaguar energy and energy and energy. I used sexual stimulation to raise that energy. I did so for half an hour. At the end of it, I played drum music because drums help you to get that energy and build it. I built as much energy as I could. I did my breathing, projecting that energy through my breath, charging the energy in my lungs by inhaling and holding your breath while the blood that has been charged with energy through deep breathing then passes through your lungs and into the air that you're holding in within your lungs, and then streaming that air out onto your thought form, your physical thought form. Okay, so I did that. Then I took the written message that I had written, the function of the thought form, and I directed my attention right at that thought form. I told it what its function was. I didn't ask it. I said, this is what you do. And I was very commanding. I gave it a name. I told it who it was. I also told it that this crystal figurine is where you will come to get your energy. And I said, I will give you a little bit of energy each day and charge that crystal figurine. Not necessarily through Tantra. I only did that when it was being first created, but through just deep breathing. And every evening I would charge it and charge it with energy, set it down. I told it where it would find it. I gave it explicit instructions. And I created an astral entity. And at first, it took about, I'd say, 2 weeks. I have to tell you, I had read and been forewarned that you are not supposed to keep an astral entity and charge it for beyond like 3 days. And after 3 days, you are supposed to dissipate it. But I thought, well, that's not necessarily true. I want to keep that astral entity around my house. I want to keep charging it. Maybe even it will start manifesting itself at times in the physical. Maybe even if I keep charging with enough energy, it will condense into the physical, and at times if someone breaks into the house, they might catch it out of the corner of their eye or hear it growl. And so these were intentions that I had created. And here's how it backfired. About 2 weeks after I had continuously charged this astral entity, I felt its presence for one thing. I started to feel its presence in my mind's eye. I began to see it with my mind's eye as clear as day in certain areas of my house, or my apartment. I need to digress for a second because I told you something else that you need to do with this astral entity. After you charge it, you blow on it and you visualize it. You look at it, you see every detail of it in your mind. And you are focusing just solely on the image of it. And you are actually, that's the process of how those thoughts that you are holding plus the energy you're projecting is creating in the astral. I have to also tell you, there were a lot of things that I am telling you now that I did not read. That for some reason, I did read some parts, but a lot of it just came to me. I don't know how, and there's a possibility maybe I must have practiced this in another lifetime. I don't know. But that's what I did. And here are the negative consequences. My daughter was sleeping one night, and this is after I had been sensing the entity that I had created, and I was very pleased that it was there. I thought, this is working, you know. And I took some kind of a self-gratification in my abilities to create it. I was too presumptuous, and